Welcome back once again to another edition of the You Should Get a License podcast edition. I say edition of the You Should Get a License podcast edition, but it's You Should Get a License and it is the podcast edition where we actually get the opportunity to speak to an insurance industry professional who can share their insights and wisdom. And today, very excited about the guests that we have on this episode, because this is someone who is critically acclaimed, throughout the industry, really heralded as a leader. She is the owner of Carrington Insurance, specializing in Medicare, senior care solutions. She's also the CEO of Burning Bush LLC, a company that focuses on CBD oils and treatments. So we're going to talk about that too, and how she has really just expanded, her knowledge and experience in insurance, starting all the way from selling Kirby vacuums all the way up until now, running her business, even getting her children involved. I won't steal all the thunder of the interview, but I do want to welcome to the You Should Get a License platform, Miss Nikki Carrington. Nikki, welcome.
Rod, thank you so much for the warm welcome. You got me excited. I didn't know who you were introducing. So it's definitely an honor and a privilege to be on this platform with you today. So thank you again for allowing me to be here and share.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, we're excited to have you. Once again, I was just speaking before we started recording, just letting you know, how many people have really talked about you, prior to our conversation and the impact that you've had on their careers. And I want to get into that. I want to start with, your career, where it started, going into your leadership experiences, even going off and branching into your own agency and business and the CBD industry. But first, what I like to do for this platform is to let people know that there's many different varieties, of this industry that they can participate in and start their careers. So what area of insurance, have you focused on throughout your career? I know you've been in the industry 15 years plus at this point. What area, have you focused on in the insurance industry?
Yes, great question. So the area that I've focused mostly on in this industry has been the Medicare space. I started off in final expense. That was my comfort zone. So I was helping seniors to really start planning for their burial, conversations that a lot of people don't like to have, especially in certain communities. And so that's where I started, is with the final expense. But then I found that those same clients had a ton of Medicare questions, and I was not equipped to properly assist my own book of business. So that's when I realized, I'm not being of value or as much value as I could be to my clients by not having access to resources that could really benefit them. So I went back and got some additional education, got into the Medicare space, and that's where I have been ever since. And I absolutely love working with the senior market. Every client of mine is a family member. They're always an extension of my family. And, I take great pride in being that for them, being a family member to them and making sure that, I'm following them through all stages of their lives, being there for their children and grandchildren. So it's a great space to be in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A powerful space, and, it's one that, for me, I've worked in employee benefits throughout my career, but I've always had kind of a soft spot, for Medicare and for the seniors, just from the standpoint of, our parents and our elders, they took care of us when we were young. And, when I think Medicare is kind of our opportunity to take care of them, so to speak. Right. And I have been the IT department for my parents. So, that's probably the extent of where I've done it. But I think that's just an awesome space to go. So let's go all the way back before we start, going into your career journey. Mm-hmm. I want you to take me back to, 9-year-old, 10-year-old Nikki Carrington. Well, it wasn't Carrington at this point, but Nikki at this point, right?
Yes.
And what did you want to be when you grew up? What was the dream job?
Wow. So I wanted to be everything, right? So I've got to narrow that down. I was the oldest out of 3 girls, so I was always the leader. My siblings always say, you took charge. You always had to be the first, and you always had to tell people what to do. So I had that leadership capability at a very young age. And I had decided at one point that I was going to go into the military and that I was going to become a military officer and serve my country. Which that was my goal at the time. And I did actually join the military. That's a whole nother conversation. I got accepted to a military academy. But things changed in life, and I took a different turn. And I knew that I always wanted to serve. So whatever capacity that I was going to work in as an adult, it was going to be in a role of servitude. I had to give back to my community. I had to make sure that I was contributing to the advancement of everyone around me. And so service was my goal in whatever capacity that the good Lord was going to lead me to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So starting from that, so military, you just say that's another conversation. Let's kind of go there. Let's go down that road, So growing up, you know, you were going to be in service. You were a Girl Scout when you were young as well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The quick fact, that we pulled. Now, where were you born?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Colorado Springs. Okay.
Yes.
Growing up in Colorado Springs, you said, hey, I want to go into the military. I want to be of service. You had some interesting things happening in your childhood as well, because you were a Girl Scout, but you also did some pageants.
Yes.
Beauty queen as well.
Yes.
Okay. And lots of social activity. So you've always been engaged, right?
Absolutely. Social space. I want to be in the front. I was always front center stage. Give me the microphone. That was me.
So how old when you decided, hey, I'm going to go in the military? How old were you at this point?
I was probably in middle school. So 6th, 7th grade, like 12 years old. I come from a military background. My father served in the military. My grandfather served in the military. Extended family members served in the military. So I've always seen that type of service. I've traveled many places, stateside as well as abroad. And so for me, that was my path. I've got to serve because that's what we do in my family.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service, and thank your family as well. Yes. So once you got your turn, right? Mm-hmm. You're going into the military. What branch?
Yeah. So when all of my friends were applying to colleges and universities, I was, I was reaching out to the military academies. I was training, making sure that I was fit and that I was ready mentally and physically for what the requirements were. And so I actually was accepted to United States Naval Academy back in 1997. It was a wonderful opportunity. I got a presidential nomination, a congressional nomination rather, to be able to go. And it was my dream. My parents were proud. My community was proud. And I went, and this, having a real conversation, a lot happened that first year. And I suffered from a physical injury where I could not complete my commission. And so I was devastated that I did not finish my assignment at the academy. That same year, just a couple months later, my mother tragically died. Oh, wow. So it was all for a reason. I did finish my 8 years of reserve duty. And during that time, after my mother passing away, I was able to be there for my family. So I felt like getting accepted into the academy, still serving in the reserve, and then being there for my younger siblings to help my father in raising them was an important task. So I feel like I was able to serve in multiple ways.
Absolutely. So coming out of that, where are you, career wise, life wise, what's the direction? So you're not active, you're in reserve. Mm-hmm. You're taking care of family. What is going on in your head career wise? Like, what direction are you feeling as far as just supporting yourself and everyone who needs you at that time?
So I decided to look at other colleges and universities that were close to home, because again, I had younger siblings. My father was now a widow. I had a sister that was only 3 years old at the time. Wow. So there was a lot happening. And so I reached out to Virginia State University, got a scholarship there, and finished my college education there in political science.
Go Trojans.
And yes, excited my son is there now as well. So it was a great opportunity because I was close to home, but I wasn't at home. So that was important for independence, of course. And then looking at political science opened up my eyes to how else I could serve. Mm-hmm. So I always look at a political science degree as a people degree. And I thought that from that degree, I would get into politics. And I realized that I would have to serve a little bit longer than I expected to make money in politics. So I decided that with that degree, you know, I can talk to people. I'm comfortable in crowds. I've always been a salesperson. So I took that and went, after I graduated, went directly into the financial service industry. And that's when I got introduced to insurance.
Okay. Okay.